fans are making a lot of noise at AT&T Stadium.
Anything that moves between these lines, got to get dealt with.
They hand it to Pollard. He comes running out the right side. Deep to the post to Lamb. At the 5 to the goal line.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night is presented by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. It's Miller time. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
In a tale of two halves, the Dallas Cowboys had a 3-possession lead over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but Jacksonville comes storming back, forces overtime, and a pick six in OT leads to the 4th loss of the season for the Dallas Cowboys, this time on the road at TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. Their first trip to Jacksonville since 2006 goes poorly, and the Cowboys come back home with a loss. Welcome into Cowboys Game Night here from the Star in Frisco in the Globe Life Studios alongside 6-time Pro Bowler and 3-time Super Bowl champ Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Youmans. Nate, this was a game that Cowboys fans would love to forget, but they never will be able to forget because not only was it a come-from-behind victory, a 17-point lead for the Cowboys early on, but it was one where it basically dashes your hopes for an NFC East crown.
It does, Kyle. And, you know, the amazing thing about it, with that first half, we sitting back enjoying the game, sipping our iced teas and loving it. Then all of a sudden the second half started. The turnover started. Getting into the red zone and not scoring 7. We was getting 3 instead of 7. That is what happened. This Jacksonville team, though they are a young team, Coach Peterson put them in a position to win, and they executed going down the stretch and got that lucky interception.
Our sweet iced tea in the first half turned very sour very quickly for the Cowboys. Here's how it happened. In Dallas early on, looking to take advantage of a Jacksonville turnover. They did just that with Ezekiel Elliott 10 yards out, his 7th straight game with a rushing touchdown. Dallas on top early 7-0. They would double their lead on the next drive. Peyton Hendershot works his way open on the wheel route, Nate, and he finds the end zone for the 2nd time this year.
That was sweet. I can't explain the combination routes that they got, but that wheel route coming out of there on that DB, he dropped that in the bucket. Great catch, Hendershot.
And it took a perfect throw from Dak. 2nd touchdown for Peyton Hendershot, 14-0 early, but Jacksonville would get on the board. 9 plays, 75-yard drive, and Zay Jones finds the end zone. Mike McCarthy would get back to the ground game, though. An 11-play drive leads to Noah Brown on the interior. Dallas up by 2 scores at the halftime break. Fast forward to the final 4 minutes of the third. Couple field goals on both sides. Dallas's lead takes a huge hit, though, as Zay Jones beats Kelvin Joseph for 6, his 2nd touchdown of the game.
Wow, right here, man. He looking in the backfield. You got to keep your eyes on the receiver. Nice route, nice throw into the end zone. You got to tackle him. But he couldn't get him in time.
Not in time, and it is a 59-yard touchdown run. 10-point lead for Dallas. Dak Prescott pressure, throws it to his right, and that one intercepted by Jenkins. He takes it all the way back down to the 20-yard line. First turnover of the game for Dallas. Jacksonville looking to turn it into points, and they would do just that. This one on the goal line to Marvin Jones Jr., making it a 1-score game. Jacksonville only down by 3 after a defensive stop. They're back on offense. This time it's Zay Jones again. His 3rd touchdown of the day, 21 unanswered points for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now Dak Prescott, they need an answer. He gets one. Noah Brown finds the end zone. 2nd touchdown of the game for Noah Brown, his first multi-touchdown game of his career. Dallas on top by 3. Jacksonville looking to tie or take the lead in the 4th quarter. Trevor Lawrence trying to make a play. Instead, Jaron Kearse makes a play. The forced fumble recovered by Micah Parsons. Dallas gets the ball back. They look to be on their way to a win. Instead, the offense stalls out. Jacksonville gets the ball back, and they convert on a 48-yard field goal to tie it up as time expires in regulation. On to OT we go. Dallas gets a defensive stop. All they need is a field goal to win it. Dak trying to make a play on 3rd down. Noah Brown can't come up with the loose football, and it's Rayshawn Jenkins again. This time, he doesn't get tackled at the 20-yard line. He instead takes it all the way to the house. 40-34 on a walk-off pick six in overtime as the Jaguars come out on top, their 6th win of the season, and the Cowboys fall to 10-4. First time all year, Dallas has allowed 40 points, and they gave up 500 yards of total offense. But when we come back, it was really the turnovers that told the story. 14 points off of turnovers for Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense. We'll break it down when we come back on Cowboys Game Night.
This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. If you have a lucky quarter, it could pay off big when you play the new Cowboys scratch ticket game from the Texas Lottery.
In a game that had its ebbs and flows, so did Dak Prescott. He had just one incompletion in the first 2 quarters alone. However, he had 2 interceptions in the second half and overtime in the loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's what Dak had to say in the loss.
David Moore, California News. You started with the interception in overtime. What happened there, and then also the one late in the second half. Both of those.
Yeah, late in the second half, was trying to throw it to Dalton, and kind of got grabbed from the back at the same time as I was throwing. The ball just came out of my hand, obviously high. Yeah, unfortunate. And then in overtime, crossing route, was throwing it low on purpose, and just wasn't able to make the play and the connection between us two, and obviously tips up, and guy makes a great catch right there above the ground and ends the game.
Clarence, before we start talking about, you were almost perfect in the first half. How do you explain the offense between the first half and the second half with the lull in the third quarter?
Yeah, I mean, that's the tough spot, especially when the third quarter this season has been where we've come out. We've come out hot after making adjustments. And so for tonight, that'd be to be our lull, and obviously have the turnover and have some stall outs, some 3-and-outs, and don't get it going. It's tough, but it's hard for me to give you that answer right now. Haven't watched film. Got to go back and do that and go from there.
Ed Werder, ESPN. Dak, you talked all week about eliminating the interception, how frustrated you were by him. How much you feel now, given the consequences of the last one?
Yeah, I mean, frustration grows, obviously. To end the game on a pick six, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's frustrating. And not only that, as I said, the first one, yeah, I mean, I just got to not even try to throw the ball right there. Feel the guy grab me and just tuck the ball and take the sack and just move on to the next play. And that's that balance. And obviously, I'll learn from it and tuck it next time. So it's tough. It's tough treading that line, trying to make a play, trying to be aggressive, and at the same time, not putting the ball at risk. So, yeah.
Calvin Watkins, in the regulation and third down, just your thought process of what you saw there on that incompletion down the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, it was a one-on-one. Obviously, we had a crossing route with CD. They put 2 to 3 guys on him, and 31 was pretty much just off the whole time, and I just tried to throw it deep and give Noah a chance.
Dak Todd after the ESPN, does this change at all feelings going into Philadelphia week, or how does it alter it?
Honestly, it doesn't. Obviously, it sucks losing to start there, but if we had won that game right there on the field goal, I don't think that necessarily changes the low in the third quarter, the bad things that happened in this game. Yeah, so we've got to move on, just like any other week. I mean, it's not like I don't know what happened with Philly. Guessing they won. Yeah, so I mean, it's not like that puts us in a better position or not. So it's about, at this point, building, trying to get better, trying to clean up our mistakes, learn from our mistakes, and make sure that we're just carrying momentum heading into week after week as we move forward to get into this postseason.
Louis Scruggs, NBC5, Dak, the first interception, they got a touchdown out, and then obviously the second they scored. Do you put this on you in terms of this game being a how do you internalize it?
Yeah, I mean, I take every loss on the chin. I think that's my job as a quarterback, to put us in positions to win and eliminate the mistakes and the potential chances to allow them to score after turnover. So, and that's what's frustrating about it, whether it's a tip ball, whether it's a unfortunate interception, whatever it is. They all suck. And at the end of the day, I've got to do a better job, and that's where it is when I say I take them on the chin, that's why I'm also trying to make those plays, to make those plays to put us in a better chance, put us in better field position, and give us a better chance to win. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you lose second overtime game this year. I was 0-2 in overtime this year. and wanting to be in those positions, have the ball in my hand, and when it ends up like that, it sucks. It's a feeling that I don't like, and I've got to learn from it and do better, put the ball in better positions, and be smarter with it.
Dak Prescott, in his own words, saying the frustration grows, having thrown an interception to have a pick six on the final play of the ball game over 40-39 to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But his frustration not only comes from the 2 interceptions today, he's now thrown 11 this season in 9 games. What has to happen for Dak Prescott to try and flip the script in these final 3 games?
Just study a little bit harder, but don't put all the pressure on yourself. Let your receiver make some plays. They got to make better plays for him because that Noah Brown thing was kind of iffy there. So you got to make better plays for your quarterback, but don't put all that on him. You can't put all, because all those 11 interceptions weren't always his fault. Mm-hmm. So he's got to go back and work extra after practice with his wide receivers where they can be on the same page and just let it play out. Just let it play out because it's still, 4 games left. So just, be yourself. Continue to study film and let it play out.
It's a thin chance still for the Cowboys to win the division. However, all of their goals still in front of them, make the playoffs, make a run in the playoffs, and in order to do so, you have to limit those turnovers, limit those mistakes, because if Dak Prescott keeps making some of those mistakes, it could be tough for the Cowboys to overcome them. When we come back, though, we talk about the run game and the offensive line that had their struggles in the loss against Jacksonville. We'll hear from Ezekiel Elliott when we come back on Cowboys Game Night.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. If you have a lucky quarter, it could pay off big when you play the new Cowboys scratch ticket game from the Texas Lottery.
The Cowboys offensive line got Tyron Smith back into the fold, but there were some struggles in terms of pass protection, but they did run the football exceptionally well. Again, here's what Ezekiel Elliott has had to say after the loss to Jacksonville about running the football behind that offensive line.
Definitely frustrated. As the offense, we kind of went through a lull. They let them get back in the game. Just didn't get done in overtime.
What did you see on that last one?
I really didn't see it because I was kind of clearing the guy out on my wheel route. I didn't see the play.
Were you guys surprised you guys got the ball in that final third down of regulation?
It's easy to look back and say, should have ran it, you know what I mean? But, we all pros. I believe in the judgment of coach, I believe in the judgment of Keller. And, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I guess you could say that. I say, you see the similarities there. I just think, as an offense, we got to figure out a way to close that game out. Forming an offense, we've been running the ball well all year. I think we just got to, buckle up in crunch time and end that game right there.
How would you describe this feeling right now? The locker room's just dead quiet. It seems like you guys are pretty stunned.
Guys are stunned. Guys are definitely upset. But, we got to use this, grow from it. We got a lot of football left. Use this, grow from it, and just become a better football team.
How do you hold on?
So Zeke said it there. You got to learn from it. You got to move on. You got a lot of football left to play, but the coaching staff could certainly learn from a mistake like this, or at least a game like this against Jacksonville because of what they did up front. Did you like the musical chairs of Tyron Smith and Jason Peters moving back and forth now that they're both healthy and back in the fold?
Never have, never will. Get your 5 guys and let them play. You rushed the ball 41 times for 154 yards. It wasn't the run blocking. It was the pass blocking that broke down and put some leaks and put pressure on Dak.
So do you move Tyron Smith back to the left side, or do you keep him at right tackle, or does it really matter as long as you have a consistent 5?
I need a consistent 5. If you want to move to the left and put that young guy over to the right, do what you have to do. But the next 3 or 4 games, let it be what it is.
Yeah, that offensive line had their struggles in the loss against Jacksonville. Zeke said it there. You got to be better moving forward as a complete team, because just like you have complete team wins, this felt like a complete team loss on the road against Jacksonville. Speaking of that, the defensive side of the football had their fair share of letdown in this one. We'll hear from DeMarcus Lawrence when we come back. Another quiet day for the Cowboys pass rush. Just one sack credited to Micah Parsons in the first half. Let's hear from DeMarcus Lawrence back out in Jacksonville on his thoughts following the loss to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I think it's good for us as a team to understand that, it's any given Sunday. You have to work for what you want for all 4 quarters. And, shout out to Jacksonville, for, bringing it today and, coming out with a dub. But, it's something that we're going to make our adjustments, learn from, and get better.
I mean, you remember the end of last season, how it ended really there in like a split second. Is there an element of better to have that moment now than later?
What you mean by that?
Just the way that things ended. It's just a split second at the end of last season in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Better to have that moment now than in the playoffs.
Oh, man, you'll never want to have that moment again. But, like I said, we played a pretty good team today. We're going to go back in, make our adjustments, and prepare for Philly. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So DeMarcus Lawrence seemingly frustrated and very short with his answers. Back here with Nate Newton, 500 yards of total offense, 40 points on the board, season high in both of those totals. What went wrong defensively? Where do you put the blame?
Just that we didn't stop the run, but that wasn't the issue. Kyle, the simple fact is we played a better quarterback and a coach, and Coach Peterson, that knows how to coach this quarterback. And that's the only difference. In the second half, he had us alive, and they put the run game in there to be a change-up. He threw the ball very well, and I'm talking about Trevor Lawrence. That was the reason they lost that game.
Why can't this pass rush over the last 2 weeks, 0 last week against the Texans, 1 this week against Jacksonville, this is a team in a pass rush that is the strength of the Cowboys. Why can't they get home against a guy like Trevor Lawrence?
I don't understand it. I mean, they got a good offensive line. They were, first in sacks, and at least amount of sacks. I don't know. I mean, maybe the guys are a little banged up, a little beat up. Maybe we ain't scheming it up right. But they have to find a way. They have to find a way. You're in the back half of your season. You got to find a way.
This defense sets the tone. We've seen it plenty of times this year when the offense doesn't have their best stuff, the defense needs to, and we've seen it flip-flop now over the last couple of weeks. This defense has to get back to what they were through the first 10 weeks or so in the regular season. When we come back, though, we put this one behind us and look ahead to a Christmas Eve matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles with more Cowboys Game Night after this.
Dallas Cowboys Game Night was presented by AT&T, the official 5G innovation partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Reliant, an NRG company. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
40-34, the final score in overtime as the Jaguars come out on top over the Dallas Cowboys. Only the second trip in franchise history out to Jacksonville, and the Cowboys come back home with their 4th loss of the season. Welcome back into Cowboys Game Night as we wrap things up from the Star in Frisco with Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Youmans. Nate, final thoughts on this one, and of course moving forward to a divisional matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles on Christmas Eve.
Learn from your mistakes. Once again, you got to find out who you are. You got to play 4 quarters of football. You got to play it hard. You got to play it smart. And especially when you're on your road, you cannot have any turnovers. We got the Eagles coming in here. Hey, just get ready, prepare for them, and just stay locked in on them.
And, of course, this game doesn't mean as much without the win today. However, you still have to win to continue along on the building to trying to make a playoff run. What's the biggest mindset going into this week?
Just work on yourself. Each individual player got to look at himself within the team concept and make sure you do your job, and everything will come together as a team.
When there are so many problems kind of scattered throughout and a lot of injuries too, this is a Cowboys team that is banged up at the moment. They need that mindset of getting better, getting a little bit better each day along the way, and hopefully by the time Saturday rolls around, you can come out on top with a big win at AT&T Stadium. We'll be out there at AT&T Stadium as well in the cold with Cowboys Nation, so be sure to keep up to date with everything on DallasCowboys.com. That's it for us on Cowboys Game Night. The Cowboys fall on the road to Jacksonville. We'll see you next week.